I want to bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News senior investigative reporter Laura Strickler. Also with us here, former Republican Congressman David Jolly and MSNBC political analyst. So do we even know, Gabe, what this would even look like?
Hi there, Chris. Well, this idea has been around for years, especially after the 2012 debt crisis in Europe. Other countries issued what they called so-called golden visas, golden passports, so to speak. And the Trump administration, though, surprised reporters in the room yesterday by bringing this up. And Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says that this would replace the current EB-5 visa program, which he says has little oversight. But as you said, President Trump revealing this, and today even calling it a bargain. Take a listen to more of what he had to say during his cabinet meeting earlier today.
We have to be able to get people in the country, and we want people that are productive people. And I will tell you, the people that can pay $5 million, they're going to create jobs. They're going to spend a lot of money on jobs. I don't know that we're going to sell that many. Maybe we won't sell many at all, but I think we're going to sell a lot, because I think there really is a thirst. No other country can do this, because people don't want to go to other countries. They want to come here. Everybody wants to come here.
President Trump yesterday suggested that Russian oligarchs might possibly buy some of these visas. And today, his administration said that they would go on sale, so to speak, in about 2 weeks or so, Chris.
Okay, Congressman. I mean, do you see this as kind of what some other countries do? First of all, for example, the UK, I think it's a £2 million investment in a business. But we don't have the details on just if you have money. Are we going to give it to you, right? Do you have to guarantee you're going to create jobs? I mean, there's this famous line, right, on the Statue of Liberty. I don't even know how many times I've been there. I go a lot. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Does this $5 million golden ticket say something about access and who gets access to the American dream?
It does. It's in many ways an abandonment of American values and the American identity. We have investor class visas, EB-5, we have E-2. You can come here, you can invest in a business, you can come here and make passive investments. We have those. So perhaps they should be reformed or made better. And those are a category along many categories, including eventually you get to refugee and asylee status. We have different pathways. I think what the cruel nature of this is, you're right, it was The Great Colossus by Emma Lazarus, give me your tired, your poor. Yep. What most people don't know is the passage that precedes that, which is, keep, O ancient lands, your storied pomp. And what it says is, keep other countries, keep your rich and your famous and your fabulous. Bring us, your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Your homeless, your wretched refuse tossed upon the shore. Behold, I have raised my lamp by the golden door. That is Americans, has been and should be the American ethos of welcoming all people. I think we know what drives Donald Trump's motivations. He sees the ability to sell a gold card for $5 million, which will have zero impact on the federal treasury. It's just a matter of bringing in wealthy people.
Laura, you have exclusive new reporting about a Trump administration plan to find unaccompanied migrant children. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. What we've learned is that ICE is planning a nationwide operation to locate and potentially deport children who came into the United States without a parent or legal guardian, according to two sources familiar with the plan. If a judge determines they have no legal basis to stay in the United States, they could be put on a path to deportation. Now, while timing for this is not clear, we have heard this operation to locate these minors could begin as early as this week. And here's the backstory. As we know, almost 300,000 children crossed the border since fiscal year 2019. That includes under the first Trump administration. And they were not given notices to appear in court. After they crossed the border, the government had them in custody and then transferred them to the care of sponsors throughout the U.S. Then there was an effort by government contractors to follow up with them 30 days later. Tens of thousands of them did not respond to phone check-ins after they were placed with a sponsor. These are the kids who will be focused on for this ICE operation for possible deportation, according to the same two sources familiar.
Congressman, you've said in the past the question of immigration is a reflection of our values. Yeah. Where does the prospect of threatening a 14-year-old with deportation land?
I find it heartbreaking, and I think the framing of immigration in our national conversation has really been wrongly set. I mean, we're the most powerful nation in the world. We are not threatened by families and young people trying to come be a part of the American dream and grab opportunity and escape poverty and escape violence. If anything, we should be welcoming them. And I think even when we get into the nuances in a lot of these red states versus blue states policies, I mean, rip the Band-Aid off. What is wrong with welcoming people to the United States who contribute to our culture and our economy, our education system, and the fabric of who we are? It is a question of our values. I think the most worrisome thing about this new idea by Trump about the registration, making people register, creating civil or criminal penalties, going after these folks. There was about a decade where Obama and even the likes of Marco Rubio, there was an understanding to allow these families and individuals to come out of the shadows. That as a nation, we at least would be better if we could get them out of the shadows. This will push them back into the shadows because it will be a terrifying prospect to register under a Trump administration that you're here without proper documentation. The next step is deportation.
It is interesting to me, among many things, and it's a complicated problem, right? Sure. And I think most Americans think there should be some sort of way for people to come out from the shadows and for pay taxes, all that.
That's right.
But a lot of folks who do get help through churches.
That's right.
And a lot of the people who are railing against this are people who talk about being Christian and believe in the Christian faith. And I wonder if there is a disconnect somewhere with some of their constituents who, frankly, and I've seen it all across the country, people who work in their churches, in their neighborhood,
That's right.
gyms, to help people who come here get jobs, learn the language, go to school.
I don't think progressive evangelism died with Jimmy Carter. I think there's still a threat of progressive evangelism around the country. I think there are evangelical Democrats still sitting in church pews. But you're right, so much of the narrative grabbed on by the religious right almost reflects more of Fox News than it does biblical principles. And sometimes pastors sound more like Fox News hosts than they do faith leaders. And I think that's a question of who we are as a country and how we get back there. I think something that is absolutely happening right now as a result of DOGE is the rescinding of funding for refugee resettlement. This is kind of the purest form of bringing somebody to the country. It takes several years for a refugee to be approved to come here. Our resettlement agencies have to find them home, work, housing, transportation, you name it. And it is led often by faith-based charities that receive government funding. Trump has nixed that. This is not a matter of reforming immigration. Donald Trump is anti-immigration unless you got $5 million to buy a gold card.